Set? Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the Select Board meeting for July 21st. Hello. Welcome to the Select Board meeting for July 21st, 2026. Please join me in a flag salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept this week's warrants?
So moved.
Second. Second. Been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed?
I didn't do the second one.
Okay. Motion to approve July 14th meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed?
I'll be abstaining.
Okay. Announcements, Wade?
The Select Board will meet on Tuesday, July 28th at 7 p.m. The Planning Board will meet on Wednesday, August 5th at 7 p.m. And the Select Board Admin's office will be closed at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Wednesday, July 22nd for general assistance training. The Select Board is looking for 2 new members to join the Budget Committee. If interested, please contact the Select Board Admin at selectboardadmin.me.org. The Select Board is looking for 4 individuals to join the Appeals Board. If interested, please contact the Select Board Admin. And the Select Board has asked that you silence your cell phones during meetings in order to limit interference with microphones or discussion of agenda topics. And as part of the hearing of citizens policy, no personal attacks on any individual or firm, including town employees, town officials, or members of the public will be tolerated during any meeting. Please direct concerns about individual employees or town officials to the chairman of the Board of Select Persons outside the public meeting. For your convenience, complaint forms are readily available at the sign-in table.
Okay, department reports. Mr. Audrey Walsh, but I don't see her here yet, so we'll go on Joint Andrews.
My report for the month of June. And these figures are from January 1st to June 29th. We have spent 40.16% of our operating budgets for the first 6 months of the year. So that's well within budget for half a year. Our electricity line, which is account 2001-2001, is 85% spent, and there's a reason for that. Last year, I looked back the year-end figures for electricity for the transfer station, and I estimated based on that cost at the end of the year. Apparently, last year's ending account balance was for only 7 months of bills. I don't know where the other 5 months went. So that line is going to be greatly under budgeted. Door-to-door pickup and hauling is at 50%. The contract is $300,000 a year. And the tipping fees are holding so far so good. We've spent 48.22% through the month of June. We continue to take in between 24 and 30% of all household waste at the transfer station. And the new household waste compactor has made keeping the facility much, much cleaner. We don't have the vectors, we don't have the crows, we don't have the raccoons, and it keeps us from having to clean up after them every time we open up. So that's been a great improvement. I can't say that we are taking in any less because we're not. It's a continual people moving in and out of this town. It's amazing. You wouldn't know it unless you deal with like this. I do with the stickers. It's just amazing. Revenues as of June, slightly below last year at $23,229. And we are awaiting a check from Grimmel for our light iron. We shipped 30.29 tons, and the check that we're waiting for is $4,087.80. I do have a problem with an account. Howard, I gave you the information on that bill that we had a controversy with for the electrician. Apparently, the board decided to go ahead and pay it. It was $820.23. It appeared on the warrant July 6th in account E20011102. Did somebody give a purchase order for that? Because I didn't know anything about it. So that's the wrong account. That account doesn't exist. Well, it exists now. It shows a negative balance of $820.23. If I had been given a purchase order to make out, I would have either put in E20013072, but the guys reminded me that that heater was for the little attendance building, so I would have made it out for G452900, which is the designated account for the bottle donations. So I would prefer that it come out of there rather than have the taxpayers have to pay for it. That's it. Any questions? No? Thank you.
Okay, next, Jared, Fire Department.
Hello, Jared Welsh, Limerick Fire. I was supposed to be here last week. I apologize for that. I was out sick. So total calls for June, we had 66. Of those, 9 were for fire and 57 were for EMS. We did 5 requests out of town, 3 requests into Limerick. The DEA update, Maine Health has backed off their original 60, I think it was 60 days notice. They pushed that back. They now say you have to at least register with the DEA by the 31st of July. We actually did that on June 23rd. So we have the ambulance safes. We got those. They're partially installed in the ambulances. They're waiting programming right now. The next step is going to be awaiting a DEA response, an interview by the DEA, and then an inspection of the station. We've also been closely working with our neighboring departments to group purchase non-controlled medications, because that's going to be the next requirement this fall. And I'm currently exploring reimbursement with the Maine opioid settlement funds. Been reached out to York County EMA. I believe they have those funds, so we're going to see if we can. It was $16,000, I think $500, right around that amount for 3 safes and tracking software and everything that's included there. We still have to get a disposal license to get rid of medications and possibly another cabinet for non-controlled, but I think that would be $2,500 or under. Training, we're currently working on recertification of all employees on apparatus required by Bureau of Labor Standards. The new ambulance from Specialty, we signed a purchase agreement with them after making some alterations to the initial drawings. These will continue to be refined for the next year until the chassis is delivered to Specialty vehicles. At that time, we'll finalize all plans and final construction will begin. Current estimated wait time is still 24 months for that. And for staffing, we're encountering some staffing issues since entering the summer months. Many employees have taken vacations, especially in the month of July, which have led to overtime. We're still striving for a crew at least 1 advanced life support provider on duty. Sometimes that's not obtainable. We have a few less than 4 shifts remaining in July that we're working on covering right now. And there's some concern. We've had a couple of people that do a lot of hours, usually more than 36. And those people have either gone to full-time departments. They're still going to do hours in Limerick, but it's going to be cut, I think, significantly. I mean, I believe some are going to do like 12 or 24. And we have other ones that are exploring full-time. And most of their reasoning is for insurance. I mean, it's mostly younger guys that are starting to realize that they need to have health insurance and things like that. So we're looking into options to keep people in town. We did have 2 people leave within the past month. The first is paramedic Ben LaRiviere. Ben's pursuing an advanced degree outside his medic degree and will not have time to commit moving forward. Ben has been with us for a year. The second is EMT and firefighter Mark Bolton. Mark will be permanently relocating to northern Maine. Mark's been with Limerick since 2017, has contributed a great deal of time to the town and to the department. We sincerely wish them the best of luck with their future endeavors and thank them for their time and service to the community of Limerick. Does the board have any questions?
No, I don't. Anybody else?
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay.
I just had a couple, Jared gave me some information, which I appreciate. Yeah, you know, it's just, well.
Can you wait till we get through the hearing?
Citizen? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Can you hang out, Jared?
Okay, next, Realtor's presentation.
Go first, then.
Okay, on the tax acquired and town-owned, first thing I have is we were contacted by a bank. One of the quitclaim deeds the town issued in 2016 was issued with the incorrect lot number and a book and page number. So they've asked us to do a corrective deed. I've got the copy of the original on what was wrong on it, paper clipped to the back. But if the board could just sign the corrective deed and then give that to Courtney, and I will take it tomorrow so they can continue with the closing.
Thank you.
Here's the...
Thank you.
Before I give the floor to Casey with map 38, lot 3, we had an offer on the 3 lots, which was map 46, lots 24, 25, and 26. The offer came in at $10,000, which is extremely lower than the $55,000 we originally were asking. So it is 1.5 acres. There is a buildable section. The rest of it is very challenging to build on because it's actually a recessed ravine. It's dry, it's not wet, but it would be challenging. So Sheila didn't know if you wanted to counter the offer or if you would just rather reduce it a little bit to make it more appealing for somebody to buy.
How long will you have that on? Just a week or two?
This is 2 weeks, this one.
I would think we want to just let it go a couple more weeks and see if we get any action on it.
Yep. We can leave it at 2 weeks, and I'll let Sheila know that you go in 2 weeks, and then we'll reapproach it again in 2 weeks. Next week, you have Peggy Hill's lot, which is 4297. We give it the 2 weeks. But that's all I had for you guys, and I'll let Casey go over map 38, lot 3.
Thank you.
For map 38, lot 3 on Fisher Drive, we received 3 offers. Our asking price was $55,000, and in order of receipt, offer 1 was $50,000. It had an escalation clause, $1,000 over the next highest competing offer, up to $60,000. They are offering a $1,500 deposit. It is a cash offer. Proof of funds were provided. This offer came with an inspection contingency subject to a soils test within 7 days. All the numbered days in our contracts are business days, with a closing date of August 24th. Offer number 2 was $63,000 with a $1,500 cash deposit. They were a cash offer with a proof of funds that they provided. no inspection contingencies with a closing date of August 11th. Offer number 3 was for $57,000. They had a $5,000 deposit. Their offer was cash. They did not provide their proof of funds. It was in the instruction sheet. Their broker said that they would get it over tomorrow if they were selected. They also had an incorrect closing date on their offer of today, which is obviously not possible. I would recommend that the board accepts offer number 2. It's just about as good as it could get. Would the board like to vote on whether to accept offer number 2?
I make a motion, we accept offer number 2 for $63,000 for map 38, lot 3.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
I'll be abstaining.
Okay.
I've highlighted in green the first 4 pages, you initial. The 5th page, you'll assign, just pick a line, any line.
Thank you, Casey.
If you miss a date, I'll fill it in for you.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Okay, that's all the department reports we have. Next, we're going to hearing of citizens. Cheryl, I think you're next.
No, I thanked you last week, but you wasn't here on that information. I just had a couple of questions on, and you actually brought them up in your talk, about the training and stuff like that. Now, with a few going away, transferring now that they've been trained, will you have to replace them?
Yes, or other people have to pick up more hours.
Okay, but as far as the training, because I noticed that there was, so many EMTs, so many advanced EMTs, ice rescue, thank God, it doesn't happen very often, but you got to have the training, of course. Apparatus and paramedic, and there's a few of each and everything. Do you have to keep a running total, a balance of them all, or?
We try to keep as many people as we can that are licensed. There's no, we don't have a number of people that we have to have.
Have to, but no. Okay.
We could have 6 people, we have a ton of overtime, if we got 6 people, I mean, we could operate.
Right, you'd have to have quite, because I think there's, 34 of
We try to keep
everybody.
As much as we can.
Yeah, okay. Train and replace, I think you answered most of my questions, but it was basically the training, is it expensive to have training?
So, we don't generally train, sometimes we do. The people that are leaving, I think we sent through Mark.
Jared?
Yeah. Sorry, like Mark Bolton, I think he went through training years ago. And I believe that was around like 1,000. I mean, I think the cost now is around 1,200 for Fire 1 and 2, which is, he has. And I'm not sure if he came to us with an EMT or if he got that with us. The county's been putting that on for free. Our training budget is generally very low. I think it's like 2,000. Prior to COVID, it was 12,000. So we don't actually spend a whole lot on training because since COVID, a lot of things have been covered by the community college or the York County Center. So the amount that we've paid out, it hasn't been a whole lot. We did the ice water rescue training with a grant. I think it was Maine EMS gave us a grant. We used that money to get suits and then train everybody. So we didn't spend any money for that, but. Generally, it's a mix of, like Ben LaRiviere, he's a medic. He came to us with everything that he has, so we didn't train him. But Leamington maybe trained him, and if he leaves Leamington, there is a loss. But generally, all of our people that we send to training, I know it's a concern that people think we're training people and they're leaving, and it's costing the town a lot, but we get years out of people. Like, we've never had somebody that got training. Well, I do know one case about 12 years ago, but generally, people don't just get training and then leave for a bigger department.
Yeah. Any on the job? I mean, can you take a few courses or something and then get a lot of your training on the job? Or it's basically...
So the EMT and Fire 1 and 2, those are actual courses that have to be put on by a program. But we have certifications that you can take. Like, people can come in and teach. Like, we have CMP come in and teach like an electrical course, and it's usually like a day or two. So people do get certifications. The ones that I sent you, those are like the big... I have a certification in this and I can do things.
Yeah, I noticed some of them had 2 or 3 different...
So like EMS-wise, I mean, like our people have like 30 or more classes for like just EMS stuff, and then a lot of the fire classes. I mean, we have monthly ones. People can do their own, like the state puts on courses. So there's a lot of things that would just fill up a page just for a single person. But
entails a lot of different ways of getting the training.
Yes.
And like you said, some of them come all trained or mostly trained. Okay, awesome. Otherwise, you answered all my other questions. Thank you.
you're welcome.
On the warrant, who's Woodhull Studio?
They are with the Bricktown Hall.
Okay. What did they do for almost $4,000?
They're a consultant, I believe.
Right, or was that Wheeler? That was right when I was
Yeah,
coming
they
on the
work
board.
for the architect.
Oh. So
And
has
is
that
the
project
architect or
been
the engineers?
voted on or okayed? Are we going to dump a lot of more money into the Bricktown Hall, or is that still in the
It's still
talking?
going, as far as I know.
Just still talking about it? It hasn't, okay. Well, I just thought it was quite a chunk of change there, but,
The committee is still meeting, as far as I know. Gail, is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
so does that go before the people when it's all said and done, or is it something you guys decide on?
When we
or-
get the proposal, we'll let you know.
Oh, okay, very good. What else did I have? Contracts, snow contracts. I know the town roads are going up tonight. You're going to decide tonight. What was the decision made on the municipal buildings and the sidewalk? I haven't heard anything more about the sidewalk. Is that still in the process of...
We're still working on it.
Still working on it, okay. So This is almost August. Any ETA or?
Right now, it's on one of the priorities, to
Oh.
finish it up.
Okay, just curious. Keep you on your toes.
Do we want to discuss the,
Well, we talked about it in our public workshop prior. From what I heard in the public televised workshop, the current contractor for the town-owned properties, his contract is valid through 2027. So he has 1 year left of his contract, and we will be putting the sidewalks out to bid this year.
Okay. Question the one on the 2026, 2027. The contract had two different, the whole contract together, on two different spots, it had two different dates. How can that be valid? That should null and void that.
it doesn't. It
Why?
doesn't, because one was an exhibit that was an attachment. The other one was the actual contract. The
They-
actual contract portion of it has through 2027. And that's the one that we have to go by.
Even though they were both, the exhibit and the contract was both signed on the same day? Okay. Are the contracts going to be a little more clearer next year?
Yes.
Okay,
That's what we're hoping for. That's what we're shooting for, so.
okay, because the town one is so screwed up now, I don't know how that'll stand on ice, but
The
that's okay.
attorney made out the contracts, reviewed all the contracts.
Yeah, I know.
And made a lot of changes in all areas of them. And
Since
he-
this
and-
one's gone out?
And he's made it so that basically any contract we put out, we're using that, I'll use the term boilerplate to begin with, and then we'll just put in what information we need for a specific contract.
Like whatever, machinery and stuff like that. So the existing contract for the town roads, what about the miscommunication or the mistakes that were on that one? How is that going to be?
That will
About
be-
the town
That will be
owns-
worked out directly with whoever is awarded the bid.
With the it will have to be in, yeah, I mean, because that, you go with that in anything, anybody can jump in and say, well, this wasn't here, so this isn't legal.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
cross your Ts and dot your Is. I think that's it today, maybe. Thank you.
Anyone else? John?
So I got a few money questions. Last week, Howard, you said we were this close to getting everything that the auditor needed, and he was supposed to have it by the 15th. You thought you might need a few more days. Did the auditor get everything they need to do 2025?
All that, the forensic accountant is all done. And there is, I believe, a couple of things that have to be done that Julie is working on. So, it's,
But as far as the auditor goes,
we've run into a snag with the auditor. And, I have not talked to him. I've got to call in, we've been playing telephone tag, and he's up north on a project. So until I talk to him, there's no sense in going on any farther.
What was the snag? Is he still waiting for information? I mean,
Well, he's behind, and he basically wants to walk. And I want to know why.
wasn't part
Because
of
he
it,
gave us a commitment,
but wasn't part of his agreement that he had to get everything by the 15th?
yeah?
And we
Well,
didn't, and we
no.
didn't have it for him.
He said he had planned to put us on the schedule the 15th. So,
Well, I mean, it's come right from that table that he needed all his information by the 15th of July, so he would have enough time to do what he needed to do and get it done on time.
right.
And he didn't get that information.
No, he was going to be here to do the work on the 15th.
But he needed all the information to get
Right,
started.
we had to get the books squared away from the issues we've had with them.
So perhaps he's walking because he didn't get the stuff he wanted
I
in
don't
time?
know that, John, I haven't talked to him.
Okay. So as of right now, you don't have an auditor? Correct.
Well, I'm not gonna say, because I don't know.
I mean, I'll say, the letter that he sent to us says, due to unforeseen personal and professional circumstances, I am unable to complete the December 31st, 2025 fiscal year audit by the deadlines included in the above-mentioned proposal, and would not even be able to start the audit engagement until the middle of next year. That's a letter we got. It's an email. It's public record. So I don't know why we're...
So he's got a while, middle of next year, before he could even start. Has the forensic auditor helped clarify
Yes.
any money issues? For instance, I emailed you some questions a week ago that I was hoping to get an answer for tonight.
I can touch base on that too. I got that email. I forwarded it over to our treasurer, and I hadn't heard a response back. So on Friday, I reached out to her via her cell phone. She let me know that she was working on it. She let me know today or yesterday that she had it about halfway completed, my request. I asked her today to send me over everything she had prior to this meeting, and an email at 4:31 p.m. stated, Brady, your other report is first on my agenda tomorrow, and then I will do a deep dive into the figures attached. And the attached figures are the weekly reports. So I do not have the figures that you requested from last
So
week.
we don't know where the rescue billing's at, and we don't know if the Hollandville money's ever been transferred. So, was the tax anticipation note approved?
Yes,
Have we drawn on it?
yes.
How much?
You remember the word
It was 450 or 500?
450?
450.
So we've drawn one time $450,000. So assuming that we're drawing on the tax anticipation note,
Hang on, let me rephrase that. We were supposed to, or there was going to be a 450,000 drawn. I don't know whether or not she has actually done the draw, because I have not had a chance to sit down with her and talk to her about it.
In that email today, she also said that the monies moved from the 2026 TAN will be posted in the morning.
so she
So it
has.
looks like
So
she
she
is.
moved it, I just haven't,
So
I haven't
presuming-
seen that email.
Presuming that she's moving money from the TAN
Yep.
to pay bills, means that, the town would have been out of their own funds. So
Or it was getting low.
practically, you're getting low.
Getting low.
So we should have had, the last report showed $2.7 million in unassigned. We have over $1 million in lot sales that's never been attributed to anything. That's $3.7 million. There's potentially several $100,000 in rescue billing money that hasn't been moved.
Wait a minute.
That's,
The rescue billing, as of this afternoon, was $331.09.
has all the money been moved in there that belongs
Yes.
there? So
That's
that,
the same balance it was
that
6
number
weeks ago.
never seems to change. That number has stayed the same since I've been asking. So let's say there isn't rescue billing, let's say it is all moved. We'll concede that perhaps. So there's $2.8 million, 2.7 plus in unassigned money. There's $1 million in land sale money. We know there's some Hollandville money. And any other capital project money that we should have aside has all been spent. Right, if we're out of cash, and we should have an unassigned balance, and we should have Hollandville money, and we should have capital reserve funds,
So right now, we have cash of $2,436,584.
in the bank.
In the checking account, there's $1,561,441, as of today.
So the difference is the rescue billing between the 2 point whatever and the 1.5?
Yes.
So your general checking account is 1.5 million in it. Why would, if you have $1.5 million in the bank, why would you draw off the tax anticipation note? That's
You would have to
That's 2
ask-
months.
You would have to ask the treasurer that.
Ask Julie.
We know where that's gonna go. It'll take 2 months to get an
John,
answer.
you're asking us, we're not doing the books. We're looking at figures here.
But Howard, you know what? You've stood right here in this spot and said, you people are responsible for the money.
That's right.
Your words exactly.
That's right.
Okay? Well, now it's a year later. You people are responsible for the money.
And we've had all kinds of problems too,
And
from way
two,
back.
okay? And 2 to 3 weeks ago, we talked about a potential solution to that problem. Has anything been done other than to just keep digging a hole deeper?
I don't know about digging a hole deeper.
Well,
John, you
you're
have to-
drawing money, you
John,
think maybe she's drawing
Hold
money.
it. We just got done with the forensic audit. That is, like I said, there's an adjustment, I guess, in 1 or 2 little accounts. So,
Well, there was pages of
questions
adjustments.
you have, I would suggest you go and talk to Julie.
Okay. Well, I mean, your hole is getting deeper, and you're possibly borrowing money. We're getting the town into debt. And perhaps we're doing the same thing we did the last 2 years, which is borrow money on the tan when we didn't need to borrow money on the tan. I would think that someone on this board would be in enough contact with the treasurer to say, are you borrowing money on the tan? Are you not? If you are, why? I mean, that's 2 years in a row, okay? 2 years in a row. And I'll stand here and take my licks. Year 1, I approved the draw with the board's permission. We approved the draw. We didn't need to take the money. We paid it back right away when we realized we didn't need it. Last year, when we didn't need the money, we took $400,000 again on her own. And the reason was, well, this was when we took it last year. And again, we didn't need it, but she took it anyways, and we paid interest on it until we paid it back. I mean, keep doing what you're doing, we'll keep getting what we're getting, right? Like, somebody's got to be, you claim you talk to her every day, but yet every week here, it's, I'm going to ask her that tomorrow. I'm going to ask her that tomorrow. You sat here last week and said, I'm going to ask her about the Hollandville money tomorrow. Did she give you some answer?
You know, John, I'm not a CPA, and neither are you.
No.
So,
And
you
she
can stand
certainly
up there
isn't.
and say all you want, but we're relying on her, we're relying on the expert that we hired to straighten this mess out, and it was a mess.
Yes, it's been a mess for 2.5 years.
We inherited it, don't forget it.
Yes, and the mess is in that office, and you backed that mess for years and said, there's not a problem there, there's not a problem there. You kept saying there was no problem.
I never said that. I said, I knew there was something going on. And this was back even when you were on the board,
Yes.
so.
And
Don't look at me and blame me.
There's plenty of blame to go around. All I'm
There
saying
sure
is,
is.
why isn't nothing seems to be even attempted to be done to try to fix the problem?
That's not so.
Okay?
Okay?
You could hire somebody to go in there and do a job for you guys to work with the dollars and the numbers. You can do that. You can hire a bookkeeper to work for the board.
You know just as well as I do that there's a reason why that's not being done right now. Because of a thing called a lawsuit that you instituted.
I instituted?
Well, you got it going as a result of your actions.
Well, I guess you can keep throwing it back on me all you want, okay? But
Hey,
you sit here now and you have a problem. We at least tried to fix the problem. We were with everything we had to try to fix it.
yes, and you
And-
spent a hell of a lot of money too.
Well,
Citizens policy states no bad mouthing. You put in a complaint.
I'm stating facts, I'm not bad-mouthing anybody. I just said there's plenty of blame to go around, and I've taken mine, okay? All I'm saying is, at some point, you have to do something to solve the problem in that office, and nothing, it's a forensic auditor, and now an auditor that's quit, is not the answer. And the forensic auditor, as good as he may be, we all know, you can take the spreadsheet, that Wendy Thorne did on her own time, and compare it to what the forensic auditor gave, and it was almost identical.
How do you know that?
It was given to me. I FOA'd it. She gave me all the forensic audit changes, every one of them. So, you know, there is a solution to the problem. You're just not trying to find it.
Cheryl, make it quick. Not me.
Well, if you could have fixed it, then maybe, the previous board could have fixed it, then maybe someone should have been not naughty and stayed on the board. Now we have a new board, they're working their best. I gotta go back to the snow plowing. The way it was written with the 3 blades on the trucks and everything, and there was more than that, this is the only thing I can come up with right this minute because I don't have it right here. Who's to say that the 3 bidders wouldn't have bid it lower? I mean, that's an expensive thing to have 3 blades on 3 trucks. I mean, usually you have 1, and this was requiring that you had. And the mistakes and the misquotes and the stuff in that contract might have led to 3 completely different bids. Yes, no? Possible? I mean, if I knew I didn't have to buy 3 blades, that would have dropped my...
It's possible, but there were also notes in the bids.
So you can't consult and have a talk with all 3 to see if they, you know, if you're going to work with 1 to see, well, we're going to change this, this, and this. That's changing that's changing the bid.
There's not going to be any major changes to it,
It's still, a change is a change when you put out a contract, just like it was.
but it's not, the contract that we put out is when we...
Not kosher. When you come down to...
There are some minor adjustments that need to be made to it, obviously, but it's a proposed contract. It's not a contract in itself.
Okay. So if it's to negotiate or whatever, the 3 contractors should come in and sit.
But they put in their
On a
bids on a
bid,
proposed.
on a proposed bid that has going to be altered now to benefit or not the contractor that gets it. It's just, it's not, whatever. It's, should be done, I don't know, new bid, new what, I don't know. But this, as it sits, smells. You know, I mean, it's gonna have a stink on the whole contract bid.
Cheryl, every bidder got the same information,
Yes,
okay?
but if it was the
And
correct,
they bid on it. So we
Fine.
got a $400,000 bid, we got a $430,000 bid, and then we got a $700,000 bid.
and did you read the whole contract on what they were going to supply extra or not, or whatever?
I
But I'm
read the
just
one.
saying, if it's just, it's the first time that these bids have been whatever. And the lawyers were the ones that were supposed to have, you know, no. I think it needs to be set down and rewritten before even the sidewalk contract comes out, or the other one comes out again.
But the lawyers labeled it as a closed bid, not a negotiating bid.
And you're going to negotiate it, so how can that happen?
No,
You just said that you...
We're not negotiating the bids.
no.
No way.
It's the contracts, the tweaks that are being made, they're not major changes. So it's not an entirely new contract. We're not wiping it out and redoing the contract with any bidder.
Okay, I'm just saying, it's just, it will carry on for the next time.
I think I can answer John's question, because when I was gathering the information for my report last week,
Into the microphone.
She has the microphone.
as I was gathering the information for my report last week on the fire department, under revenues, all revenues for the year, January to June 26th, I believe, $100,000 that's come in for rescue billing. It's listed separately. It's not listed with the rescue billing account. It's sitting there.
You have to talk into the microphone, Joanne.
It's sitting right there. There's $100,000 listed in the revenues. So that's what's come in from January to June. So it's somewhere, but it's not in the rescue billing account.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll go on to Deep Vale update.
Good evening, Neil Meltzer for the Water District and the Sewer District, and I've got Aaron Carroll, trustee, and also the inspector who was on that project, construction manager. Nothing's really changed from what I told you last week, other than the paving is completed. The project is ostensibly done. There's some shoring up that needs to be done on some of the shoulders, which Aaron is working with the contractor on. But other than that, Aaron, I just as soon give it to you to add anything to that.
I think the last couple of things they're doing is just they've got the road edges done, and now they're going to be adding loam, and they should be out of here this week. I would think they're cleaning up and getting out. So most everything is done. If somebody sees something that I might have missed, let me know, and I'm going to do a walkthrough later on in the week. But as far as I can tell, everything is going pretty well, and yeah.
Did they put any shoulders down in
They
the
did.
past couple days?
They did.
Oh, okay.
I spoke with Ricky, and we worked that out and got that done, so they're taking care of
Say
that.
one thing, that all the pavement, it looks real good. Everything blended into the original pavement, really looks good.
So it was great when that comes out good. That's the final step.
Any other questions on Deepville?
I don't. Okay, tax acquired property.
I don't think we need to do anything with that because
Stan's working on that.
Stan's working on that. We're working with realtors.
Okay, we have to vote on the change order for the Central Avenue project.
Did we receive an actual change order?
No.
So we need to see the change order.
Do you have that, Neil?
So my understanding is with the Community Development Block Grant Project is that we have a proposal from Dearborn, which you have. We've talked about where the funding is going to come from and the Water District's commitment to address shortfall should there be any shortage in town funds, even if that requires the district to take out a loan. We've talked about how there's not quite $300,000 of residual funds, which include the $250,000 CDBG funds. So I believe that the board needs to authorize moving forward and give Howard or someone else the authority to sign the change order. Then John Cleveland will draft the change order that meets the CDBG standards. But you have the proposal from Dearborn, which is the price. We've talked about where the funding's coming from. John laid it out. I talked about it. So I think what we're looking for is approval to move forward with the change order and give that signatory authority to Howard, since he's been sitting in on all of the requisition meetings.
All right.
Okay, do I have a motion on the change order?
I would make a motion to allow Howard to sign a change order to include that based on the numbers that we were given last week, and that the Water District is offering to pay any deficit amount.
Do we hear a second? Second. Been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed?
I'm just abstaining, I just haven't had a time to review, but I am glad it's happening. It's
I'll
a
let
need.
John know, Howard, and he should be getting something together for that, so we can try to stay on the contractor's schedule.
He wants to bring that in, give it to Courtney, and
Okay, okay,
I'll make sure it gets signed.
great. Thank you very much.
Tony?
I'd just like to say that we'll be sure that they put a concrete curbing from the sidewalk when they put that back. We'll go with concrete rather than hot top.
Thank you.
Great.
That was discussed in the meeting that we had
Yeah.
with Dearborn that day, yes.
Okay. Next item, vote on the road plowing bids. Everybody's read 'em?
We all reviewed them, and looks like we could save some money. I want to make a motion to approve it to Richardson's Trucking and Excavation for $400,000.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept contract for Richardson Company plowing this winter. All those in favor? Any opposed? So vote.
Thank you.
Okay, new business, custodian, vacation relief. So far, everybody's been pitching in around here to do things, I know.
Yeah, so everybody in the building has been trying to pitch in. Cindy Smith, Dee Dee. Everybody's been pitching in to try to keep the building cleaned while the custodian is on vacation. But we need to have a backup for when he does go on vacation. Because I was not aware that he was going on vacation until last week on Thursday, I think it was, or I would have brought it to the board to have somebody to fill in. So we're kind of behind the ball on this one. But we need to find somebody who is willing to be a backup, so if our custodian goes on vacation, we have somebody. I mean, all of us are willing to pitch in and get it done, but
I think in the past, Dean LePage has done it. He's already an employee of the town. He was a custodian for us at one point.
But he backed out the last time they asked him.
Did he? Okay.
We got
But
an
it might,
email.
but it might be
I know,
worth,
that's what I heard, so.
might be worth asking him.
Yeah, just, it's, it's just, and then Cindy sent an email with somebody that she
This
recommended as
afternoon.
well.
Yeah.
Last week, so it might be worth just having them, knowing that they're not gonna be guaranteed any hours weekly, but it could be a backup thing for when Isaac's out. Is there, how long, is he out for the rest of this week?
yeah.
Okay,
And I know one of the issues that Cindy had is the bathrooms up there.
yeah.
Yeah, so he's out the rest of this week. So, I mean, we can continue to pitch in, or I can give Dean a call and see if he'd be willing to come in and fill in for the rest of the week. But it's totally up to what you guys want me to do.
I don't think it could hurt to ask Dean if he'd be willing.
Ask him first, and if he doesn't want to do it, then I would suggest either we put an ad in the Shopper's Guide, or we go up on Facebook and just say we need help. Actually, I think you probably get more of a bang for the buck on Facebook
Yeah.
than you will. We haven't been having good luck with,
Well, Cindy did
Cindy did
recommend this gentleman with
Right, so we could reach out to
pretty
him
high
too.
regard. I would feel if Dean was unable to schedule whatever, that we would at least reach out to the gentleman that Cindy recommended.
okay.
So in the morning, I will give Dean a call if he doesn't want to, then I will give the person that Cindy recommended a call and see if he'd be willing to help out the rest of the week.
Thank you.
And then if not, we'll just pitch
we'll
in
move
like
forward
we've
from
been
there.
doing.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next, moratorium and payroll, special town meeting warrant articles. Do you have anything on that?
So the moratorium warrant article is in your packets. I was able to put that together. And I know there was talk about needing to have a warrant article for payroll, because I don't know if we used up
The
our...
changeover,
Yeah, the changeover.
and
because-
just to be sure. I mean, we know that we will be still within administrative budget, however, still want to make sure that we're covered.
So I can put together a warrant article for the payroll. I just need to know an amount, and then I can bring it to you guys next week.
You can work on that one, Lori.
Yep, I can work on that one. I'll call you tomorrow morning, we can, or I'll stop in. Oh, wait, you're doing a minute. No, I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
We'll have to change the date. It won't be able to be August 4th.
Oh, yep, we're gonna have to change the date
Oh,
because
the-
it's scheduled for the 14th right now, which is 2 weeks from tonight, and we have to do the publication. We
Yeah.
won't be able to publish until,
So if we get the warrant article for payroll together, we have to advertise it for 2 weeks. So if you guys vote on it on the 28th, I can get it in on the 31st, advertise it for 2 weeks. So the earliest we could probably do this special town meeting is the 18th.
Is it 2 weeks for a special town meeting?
Yeah, it's 10 days, I think it is. I'll have to double check, but yeah, it's close to 2 weeks.
10 business days, okay.
You have 4 other money articles that were supposed to be on the June ballot, but the warrant articles weren't ready in time.
I was just gonna bring that up, because I've got an article I want to see in there too.
Comprehensive plan,
Yes.
they need $10,000 so that we can hire Southern Maine Regional to update it for us.
What's the payroll one? I missed that completely. What are we voting on?
It's for the new payroll company, for the implementation process.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're moving from the payroll company we have now to a new payroll company. So we need a warrant article for the implementation process of it.
and the costs associated with it.
Yeah.
Because the other one's null and void now that they're in.
They're month to month until we terminate, and they raised our rates by at least 30%
Gotcha.
per month, so.
Plus, there's some other equipment we may have to buy. We're in the process of dealing with a new company right now. Stuff that they want, like notepads or whatever, electronic stuff.
Yeah.
Electronic payroll,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, any other
So,
appointments?
hang on, what day are we doing this? The special town meeting? Are we doing it?
The 18th. Is that okay with everybody? And what time are we doing that? And we will have to check with the fire department because we'll have to use the fire station.
Right.
And
SRCTV. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so August 18th. Do we want to do it before a board meeting? I'm not sure if we should.
6 o'clock before the select board meeting?
Well, if we're gonna do the other
we're gonna
money
have-
articles, we're gonna want more than just an hour. So, hold on, I hate to do this, but we could, I don't know.
Do we want to do it in place of a select board meeting one week?
I mean, we could do that.
Well,
Or
we'll
there,
start at 6 and then go and do whatever we've got to do after it.
Yeah,
I know
but
it's
we don't
gonna
want
be a
to,
long night. It's apt to be, let's put it that way.
so,
any thoughts? Wade, Brady?
For the special town meeting,
yeah.
I'm fine with before a selectman meeting, and we can just have the selectman meeting to follow. It just might be a late night that night.
Okay.
That's how we normally advertise it, is like the 6 PM, or we could do 5:30, and then with the select board meeting to follow.
Okay, so we'll do it at 5:30.
Let's do it at 6.
6? Okay.
Sorry, if everybody's okay with that.
Yeah, that allows people who work in Portland to get back.
Yeah.
That way, people who work until 4:30, 5 o'clock can maybe grab something to eat before.
Yeah. So the 4 money articles, will somebody get with me to go over those so that we can get them all together for next week? Because I don't know which articles you guys are talking about.
And we need to meet with the budget
We need
committee.
to meet with the budget committee also.
Yeah.
So we're gonna need the budget, we're gonna need to get the articles done and have the budget committee review them and make their recommendation.
So I will get in contact with the budget committee and see if after Tuesday night's meeting, they can meet next week to go
Review it.
over the articles that you guys vote on
So
and
that it
hopefully
can
get that
published
done.
on Friday.
And then that way I can still get it all in on Friday.
Okay.
But yeah, I will email the budget committee in the morning, see if they
Perfect.
can meet next week.
Can I ask a question about a warrant article? Would you be willing to put on this special town meeting that if the treasurer was to submit her resignation, we would pay her through the end of her term?
John, you know the answer to that one.
Which is what?
We have a standing agreement right now with the attorneys that she can't be bothered till next March.
That's what I'm saying, but you can pay her till next March. Would you be willing to put that and let the people vote on it? She's willing to do it.
Is she?
Well, I don't,
Let's
well,
not get into that.
no, let's get into it, because,
no, we can't.
we
We
can't,
would have
I'm not
to-
gonna mention her.
We would
I'll
have
mention
to
her.
ask her first.
I'll mention her attorney. Don't ask me why, look at me like I'm crazy. He called me. He called me 2 weeks ago, and in so many terms said, can you help us facilitate her resigning and leaving and getting paid through her term? After I stood here and asked for that 2 weeks ago, he called me the next day and said, can you help me facilitate that? So I'm here asking, would you be willing to put on the special town meeting warrant, if she submits her resignation, she gets paid through the end of her term?
Well, you know, it's all funny, she's saying she's staying till the end of her term, and he has not contacted us at all. So why in the hell is he calling you?
Ask him, because he told me that he was
I
in,
will.
he told me he was in negotiations with your attorney to make that deal.
I have not heard a thing on that.
Well, somebody's grown a nose, because I got the record from him calling me, and we spent a half an hour on the phone. So he told me she's willing, and he asked me if I was willing to help facilitate that. And the only way to do that is through a special town meeting, and I said if that wouldn't work, maybe a citizen's petition, I don't know. But he said the talks were underway, and I think it's a way to end your problems.
I am gonna say, if it is something that Julie wants, I would consider that.
We don't know the background of all this.
Right, but I'm just saying, if it's something that Julie would want to do, but, you know, if it's something that she truly wants to do and doesn't feel like she's forced to,
I just find it
Then
hard to
it-
believe that the lawyer's going to be calling you and everybody else and get their opinions on stuff.
She gave him my phone number. He called me on my cell phone. She gave him my number, according to him. to be honest, when he called me that day, I fully expected his line to be, I didn't like what you said last night, I'm going to sue you. Right? That's what I expected to hear from him. I was in bizarro world when he said to me, can you help us get this done? I'm relaying the message. So maybe
Find that out
Ben,
tomorrow morning,
maybe
John.
your attorney can reach out to him and get it straightened out.
Ricky?
Just had a comment on the Deepvale project. I just wanted to let everybody know that participated in that and involved in it. It went very well. Between the townspeople, the water department, select board, Gail, of course, with all her phone calls and emails letting us know what's going on. The whole project went very well. I think me and Aaron played telephone tag for the last 2 months, but we always got together and observed and inspected and commented, and it went very well. The whole project went awesome, so. And the paving came out sweet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ricky.
Okay, do we have any appointments or resignations?
Yeah, so I had printed the agendas and had everything ready, and then we got an email from Stan saying Doug Finch is willing to be on the appeals board. So we just need to appoint him and go from there.
Okay, so we have Deedon make out the appointment papers.
Yep, so if you guys want to vote to appoint him, then I can have Dee make the appointment papers out and then have you guys sign them, if you guys want to do it that way.
I don't have a problem with it. Do we want
Who
to
was
make
it?
a motion?
Bud Finch?
Doug Finch.
Doug?
Doug.
I make a motion to appoint Doug Finch to the appeals board.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? None? Okay.
I just have two things real quick. I noticed on the agenda, legal accounts was removed. I spoke with Courtney. We said that it's just going to come back on when we have legal bills. I had a chance to look at these warrants. We do have legal bills in here in the amount of $5,400. So I just wanted to get that out there. We also have a reimbursement in here, which is crazy to me. That costs $119 for a phone case, but that's besides the point. Do we reimburse for Maine state sales tax? We are tax exempt. So the total amount that we are reimbursing includes sales tax that was paid. I also have a question on why it was paid and not just ordered through Verizon, but that's besides the point. I just didn't know if we wanted to, I mean, it's $6.24. It's minuscule amount, but.
Go back and take it out.
What?
We can go back and take it out.
Yep, I just didn't know if we reimburse for tax, just because we are tax exempt. That's all I had.
Okay, anything else? Appointments, resignations? Do we have any other correspondence? Okay, look for an adjourn.
Brady, was there anything for Deepvale in that warrant? Are there any bills for Deepvale in this warrant?
Yes.
$159,000 to Dearborn
And
And then there's one
for the water district,
for the, John Cleveland was in there.
and Dirigo.
And do we owe any more for Deepvale, or is that the final bill?
I don't know what the balance is on it, John.
How much was the total warrant?
$249,699.
Okay. All the business, I give a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor? Good night.